Thank you. You guys are the best, Jeannie. Thank you. Okay, so starting over, we're painting the back side of the stack of jacks by popular demand. I'm so glad you guys keep me honest and remind me that I don't have sound. When I first turned this on, because I've got two mics, I had to mute everything so I didn't get a ton of feedback, and I guess I just forgot to unmute it because, that's how we roll around here. Anyway, we're beginning with just like a nice like desert turquoise background. And it's okay if you go a little bit over the edges on your snowman. Not too much, but a little bit. Holly, can you hear me now? Because I was muted and then I unmuted. My mistake. We always know if there's a technical issue, it's my fault. Can somebody comment and let me know that you can hear me now? Please tell me you can hear me. Yes. Okay, I'm good. Awesome. Awesome. So again, we're just kind of going around this guy. And the reason that I'm, last time we had the guy all blacked in and then we had to do like 6 gajillion layers. Not so great. So we're just going to get kind of our base coat of the turquoise on right now. We're going to go right around the snowman. Okay to get the edges because we're going to have him we're going to allow some of the white to pick up the turquoise. So it's okay if a little bit gets over into your thing. So again, if you are interested in getting your hands on the tracer and the supply list for this, just type Frosty in the comments. If you are currently an Inner Circle member, I will automatically post this for you. But if you're interested, you can still type Frosty. That way I know how fast I got to get it posted for you guys. All right, so we've got some basic good blues in there. Maybe just get a little bit around on the bottom since I have a little extra on my brush and I might as well get rid of it. So if you've got like some kind of a notebook or something, go ahead and just offload. You're all over Frosty, Holly? Yeah. Heck yeah. Me too. Frosty makes me happy. So of course, when you're painting, you want to make sure you have your rinse glass. And I always offload just to make sure that it's a little less junk in my rinse cup. Okay, drying it off because that water in the paint is not your friend. Should the water out. Okay, now we're going to just grab some white. And I'm going to kind of put it over here. I'm going to grab just a little kiss of brown, the raw umber. Burnt umber. What umber was it? Raw umber. It was some umber. I'm going to mix it in with that white over here. So I've made a slightly brownish white. And we're going to kind of just go along the edges here and pick up little bits of that turquoise. Little bits of that. All right, I'm just going to grab straight white and keep going. Little bits of that turquoise. I'm going to start to work it in a circle here. Come on, pick up the turquoise, my friends. There we go. Okay, good. And we like that turquoise kind of blending and bleeding into the snowman. It's going to help add some depth to our snowman because just straight white, that's never that interesting. So you notice I'm going around the edges first and I'm allowing the white paint to just pick up and drag the blue. Ooh, look at that. See, there we go. That's what we really wanted. Let me see if I can get a better turquoise pull into the bottom one too. Yeah. And then just kind of fill in his belly with a little bit closer to pure white. Now this board I sketched on a whole bunch of times. So I've got a lot of lines and pencil marks that I'm going to kind of need to make sure I've covered up at some point. Whoops. Well, went a little extra there. So again, just blending so that you've got kind of the blue snow tone, and then we'll get his face. Oh yeah, look at that, right under his neck. That worked out well. Now, if you feel like you've picked up too much blue on your brush, you can always offload it a bit. I'm just going to grab a little bit more of that blue. Now I'm going to come right here into my palette, grab a touch of blue on top of my white because I would like to augment some of that's right in here. There we go. Okay. Oops. And we just need some pure white right under there. Well, I guess we're going to put a scarf there at some point, but it's fine. So now it still looks just like white, right? But we've kind of got some good definition going on. Oh, you're doing your Christmas baubles right now, Jeannie. Oh, very nice. I can't wait to see the finished result. Jeannie is one of our Blue Cat Inner Circle members, and so she's getting access to all the good stuff. She's busy painting this one. And of course, the replay will be available. So if you're catching this replay instead of real life, let me know that. But hey, Holly, you're with me. You're with me real life. Okay. So we've got a good base coat on our Frosty. My background looks like it's going to need another coat. Man, I don't have to worry about that yet. So sticking with my big fat square brush, and I've rinsed it and dried it. I'm going to dry it just a little bit more. Keep my offload thing here. I'm going to stick my elbow right in that like a silly willy. Okay. I'm going to grab some straight black. Now, if you are not feeling comfortable or confident with your brush strokes, you can totally go with a smaller brush. I'm just going to kind of fill in his black top hat, excuse me. It's not a cap, it's a top hat. And then just drag that. And the beauty of this is even if you don't get it perfectly accurate, it's still cute. He's a cartoon. You can kind of go to town, make him yours. In fact, I'm kind of thinking about some fun. All right, Jeannie, we will catch you later. I can't wait to see your Christmas baubles. I bet they're going to look so good. That's a really fun one. All right, so getting the black in there. I love using the larger brush on the bigger surface just because that way we're not sitting there all day with a tiny brush. And sometimes you can actually get a smoother line when you're working big with a bigger brush. Okay, so now we'll kind of come over here and do this line of his hat. It kind of comes around right here by his face. Here. So we kind of have like the brim turning over. We'll see if I can capture that properly or not. And maybe we'll leave just like a little tiny gap. Okay, we've got a tiny nose bit too, which I'm gonna try to paint around a little bit, just because trying to get the orange over that black is gonna be not my favoriteest thing. There we go. So just getting it filled in quick. So if you're new to me, I try and come on a couple times a week and do projects, tips, tricks, all the good stuff. All right, so now we have a basic Frosty hat here. Oh, and since we're here, I'm going to go ahead and get his arms in. I'm going to start with a black just to kind of get the basic. And because they're sticks, we're going to take a little bit of artistic license, right? Just kind of do some lines. Maybe it goes up like so, and then his elbow goes right off the screen, and then his hands and sticks just kind of do that. Just real loose, simple, easy, no big deal. Okay. Since I'm here and the hat is wet, I'm going to just kiss into a little bit of that white. And I'm going to do a little dragging of that sort of white into the black to create sort of the gray, shiny highlight on his hat. Now we've got a little bit of a glare there, but you can kind of see it coming in. So we'll grab a little bit more, drag right up. So I'm just going back in, grabbing white. Again, we're doing this right on the wet black paint. And it just helps add a little bit of shine. And I keep grabbing a little bit more. And again, if this large of brush is uncomfortable for you, use something smaller, no biggie. I'm gonna come right across the rim of the hat here. You see how we did that? Because this is the underside of the hat, and this now becomes the overside. So I added that little bit of white into the black just to show that that rim just kind of flops down. And then maybe because we're kind of seeing a little something, whoops, that didn't work. Over here, kind of along the edge behind him, we'll add a little highlight there too. And just a little kiss. You see how we did that just around the corner? So now we've got a pretty solid setup for his hat. Maybe a little bit more wet paint kind of along the top here. There we go. We'll highlight. That's fun. We'll highlight here. I don't know. We'll call that good for now. And again, slight glare. and go ahead and offload all that paint. Hopefully you've got something that you can wipe it off on first. So Holly says, you're teaching fairly well. When you started shading the hat with a light to the leftish, I started to wonder about the brim. Yep, there you go. Sometimes you just got to give me a second to get to it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rinse that brush off, get rid of the black. We will come back in and do some black details on the buttons and whatnot. But I think we've got some things drying, and I want to use a smaller brush. So I'm going to move down to what is, you know what, every single brush like company has like a different numbering system. So this one is called, is technically a number 10, but it's the Sargent Art brand, which hide in her hair or whatever. I don't know what that really means, but it's just a good size round. And so if you come to a paint party with me, you might see these exact brushes. They're really just nice and basic. All right, so let's get some eyes in there. And I'm just taking the black, and I'm not going for perfect circles. I'm just kind of blopping them in. Now this is meant to be a fairly quick project, something you can kind of knock out in an afternoon or an hour. You know, have fun, enjoy yourself, feel a sense of accomplishment without eating up your entire day. And so we can really block out a lot of the big parts of this guy quickly. And then it's just when we come back in and as we add the layers of details and information, that's when it starts to take a little more time. Oh, and Holly says, she can be top. Yes, my dear, of course you can. I've seen your painting progress very nicely over the last year or so you've been doing stuff with me. Okay. And I don't know if you can see like that the way I'm holding the brush, kind of holding it lightly towards the tail, and I'm sort of, let's see on camera here, I'm sort of placing it down just kind of like this versus this for two reasons. One, I'm kind of reaching across the canvas, so holding it way out here kind of keeps my hand out of that blue, but also it keeps these little bits of coal for his buttons very soft and loose. If you want perfect circles, then you're going to have to get in there and be way more detailed. But I'm liking sort of the roughness because, you know, these can be considered rocks or hunks of barbecue coal or whatever, charcoal. In fact, you could even add make them slightly roughly squarish if you wanted. But we aren't going for perfection here. We're just going for fun. Okie dokie. I'm going to go ahead and offload this paint a little bit and rinse it. I'm looking here. So I've got the black is still pretty wet. The white is getting close to dry. I'm going to break out the hairdryer and give this whole thing a little bit of a dry to ensure, oh, there it is, to ensure that we're not smudging paint unnecessarily. All right, so where's the hairdryer? Here it is. Actually, we'll go for the heat gun, maybe. Yeah. Oh my. Tangle of cords. We get this, I swear. Y'all, I get so close to prepared and I always miss a little something. So I like the heat gun more than anything because it's quiet and I can talk to you and it's not like completely overpowering this entire video while I use it. Thing is though, it gets much, much hotter than a hairdryer, so you must move it very quickly over your surface and not in one place for too long. Otherwise you will cook the bejesus out of your paint and it'll start to bubble and get kind of gross. I did that once by accident. It was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? He looks funny without his nose, doesn't he? We'll get there. So the pieces I want to be most focused on right now are the sticks for the arms, the little things by his neck, and his hat rim, and really just along where his nose is and here. The rest of it, it can kind of take its time drawing, but a little kick of heat here and there will help hustle it along. Okay, I think that's pretty good for now. So placing that down. This is a little bit smaller, so I'm going to go back and use our friend number 10 and just grab some bright red or true red. You can use Deco Art Americana, or really any red that suits you. The beauty of this one is, I mean, if you don't like the turquoise background, choose another color. Just do something that makes you happy. Come in and kind of work on a clean line there against that black. So this red is actually, I've got this bulk blick stuff. Sometimes the coverage isn't perfect. Or I just heated up the thing too much. I don't really know. I'm gonna add a little bit of white just to make it a little more opaque. Then I can come over it with a second layer. That's super weird, I know, but it works. It really works. All right, so we're coming in with the whitish red. In fact, this is a trick I also use for the Christmas baubles, the ornaments project, is we actually start with a red that's so light it seems all washed out, and then we just build up the layers of color in the shadows to add the depth. Which it feels weird because your brain says, oh, it's red, I need to paint it red. But really, you don't. Okay, so we've done a light red. I started with the basic red and then I just added white to it. And because this is a very orangey red, it actually comes out like a light red. It doesn't look pink, which is very intentional. If I were to use something with a little bit more blue in it, or a little bit of a cooler red, it might in fact look more pink. So I'm going to give the brim of the hat a little kick here. We want it to start to dry, because what we want to do now is start to add layers to this. And if we try to layer wet paint on wet paint, you're going to lift those lower layers and get bald spots and just overall not be terribly happy with your results. So now that that's more or less dried over here, I can come in with more red. Let's see what a difference that is. And I'm just going to start over here on the right side. It's a good thing I wear a watch. That's the only way I know the difference between my right and my left. Just saying. Anybody else? That's why I wear a watch. I mean, I also like to know the time. So I'm also going to add a little stripe here. I'm just going to kind of do little ticks so that it's not exactly straight. And so we also see we kind of have the line here for the gray of the hat or the highlight. So I'm going to kind of bring that down so they make sense. If those are out of line, then there's going to be sort of a mental, logical what happened there. But because it's a narrower surface and not as broad as the top of the hat, I might even make it slightly narrower here too. Again, just getting a good coverage so we have a pretty bright, happy red. So now our Frosty, I was going to call him Santa. Hello. Our Frosty has the little bit of red. So this allows it to be kind of an all winter long design as opposed to just Christmas. I know traditionally, we think of Frosty and Christmas, but he's really perfect for all winter. So offloading the excess paint, rinsing my brush again. Let's see. So Holly says, is a cooler red sort of purple because of more blue, or orange because of more yellow? Okay, great. So that's a really fantastic question to ask. Let me grab, so not that one, this one. There it is, Tuscan red. So Tuscan red, can you see that difference? It's a lot easier on the naked eye. Let me see if I can come up and get closer, or maybe this one here. Okay. Yeah, actually, on that one, it shows better. So this is the true red. Do you see how almost orangey that is? Whereas this one is the Tuscan. It's much cooler. So this one has, in my brain, has a little bit more sort of a blue tone to it. I mean, it doesn't look blue. It's like a deep, deep, beautiful red, very vibrant. But this is the one that's got a little bit more orange. And so that creates a light, instead of looking pink, it creates a light red look. And so that's kind of one of the things you can get when you go with a warmer like crimson versus a deeper other red. I don't know. There's got to be a name for it, right? I don't really know. I'm glad you can see the difference, Holly. Okay, so going for the orange, a little squeeze on my palette. We just want a jack-o'-lantern or whatever orange you have. If you don't have jack-o'-lantern, don't matter. Just, use what you got. So here, back to our buddy, the big brush. And we will come in kind of reaching gently across, and we'll just get the orange in for his nose. It's always fun getting those details in. So if you are looking to get yourself like bulk art supplies, like, okay, I'm a big fan of Deco Art Americana, but most of the time, unless you're getting like 6 colors, they come in these little 2-ounce bottles. With the amount that I paint, sometimes I just need a whole lot more paint. So I recently started purchasing some of the Sargent Art stuff. I actually got a half-gallon jug of orange. I was so excited. It shows up, and you know what happened? Oh my gosh. Like, you know, of course I bought it from Amazon because I don't know where else to get it from. I open it up and it's like a box is orange on the inside because the whole thing just like leaked everywhere. I was like, no. So and I got just kind of orange coming out my eyeballs and covering half my other stuff. So I, of course, will get a refund. Okay, so I just grabbed some white and I'm just kind of dabbing right into that wet paint along the top. And I'm going to start to pull little bits of that white down. Whoops. I got a lot of paint going on right in there. But here we go. And so by doing kind of dabs, bring this up so you can really see it, it creates that kind of bumpy carrot look. Make sense? Yeah. Hey, there you are, Martha. This is the other side of the jacks just for you because I know you asked for it. Okay, so there he is. Cute. Offload. Now without rinsing, you can come back in and grab some of your brown. And this was the raw umber. And we will place it down along lower. Actually, you know what? Before we do go whole hog, I'm going to mix. So grabbing some orange and some brown, I'm going to make a mix. Because I think, yeah, we want it to be a little bit more subtle. So we're going to just come down at the lower portion, the under half, just add some darkness to it. Oh, all right. So stick my pinky there where it's kind of dry. And then bring some of that brown in underneath. All right, perfect. So now as I bring that back up, you can kind of see we've got the dark underneath. And I've done a few little strokes just sort of upwards, very gently to blend in with the orange to give his nose that carroty look. I know like half of you can probably paint this better than me. So you're still having a good time, following along, doing the thing, etc. Okay. Oh, I didn't actually need to rinse, but that's cool. I did. So now we can just grab some of that brown. I'll bring it over here. Maybe a little bit of white to lighten it up a smidge. Create a slightly lighter brown. And we're going to go ahead and come like, actually, no, I want a little bit more regular brown first. Sorry. So it can be slightly lightened if you want. I'm going to come over those black lines. And it's fine if some of that black line kind of peeks out, no big deal. I'm just trying to add some brown here so they look like sticks. I'm thinking maybe like a little bit of a kind of a, almost a ball shape, a little bit of extra thickness right here on the kind of at the shoulder, so to speak. And then just a little bit extra brown along there. And this is very freeform, right? Don't stress about it. There's no such thing as perfect. We're just kind of doing the thing. And you can have, you know, varying widths. It can be sort of thick. It can be not thick. Think of these as branches. Little frosty, little hands in the air. Okay, now we'll come back and grab that lighter brown that we mixed. Duh, Wendy. Okay, here we go. And we'll bring that kind of along the top. Is that showing? Kind of not. Here, I'm going to add more white to it. Because we want to be a little bit of a highlight. All right, since it's wet, we're just going to go with straight white and just kind of drag it through the brown. Here we go. Sometimes trying to mix just bites me in the butt. Just go straight paint right on top of paint. So the method we're using here is very much like the wet paint on wet paint. If you let your layers of paint dry in between, then you will have to be a little bit more meticulous about mixing your colors. But we are relying on the wet paint to just do all its mixing right there on the surface. So this is a 7 by 18 inch board. Oh, Carrie says, so cute. We'll have to catch the replay. Oh no, the COVID booster's kicking your butt. Well, hey, you got the booster. That's awesome. I'm sorry to hear that the booster 2 kicks your butt. I know the first round pretty much kicked my butt. It was not my favorite couple of days. But we need to emerge from this COVID stuff, right? We totally do. Okay. So you can kind of see that now these sticks actually look like sticks because we've got the black as the base, the brown over top, and then I just drag some white through it. And that it's funny how much that really adds to the dimensionality there. Stick a rock on this thing so it stops closing. All right, go ahead and rinse. And I've splooshed color all over this guy. Well, that's cool. That's how we like to do things. So from here, let's go ahead and get his neck scarf, and then we'll move on to the next bit. So you can use, this is the Anita's. I believe I got this from Hobby Lobby. It's a beautiful shamrock green. I think it's really, really close to the festive green from Deco Art. So I'm going to go with a festive because I don't think I have a small bottle of it. This is one of the 3 colors, 5 colors, however many colors that actually comes in semi-bulk. So of course I'm all over it because it's one of my favorites. All right, we'll come down here and we'll start to add a little neckerchief on our buddy. Oh, we might be losing some of our cool blue in the middle, but that's okay. Here we go. Just kind of coming right over that. This guy also might need a touch of white just to make him not so see-through. Make a little circle for the knot. Again, I'm kind of blending green and white right here on the fly. The snowman is dry, which allows me the wiggle room for the details. I don't have to worry about smearing stuff every which way. And I do keep adding white to my green just so that I can really get kind of the opacity that I want. Otherwise, you really can kind of see through this. And then you can kind of just make it up as you go. Got these little streamers that kind of coming down. Again, if you want the tracer, so that you don't have to worry about trying to get the proportions right, just write Frosty in the comments. Oh, I see another one wants Frosty. I don't have your name. It just says Facebook user, but that's because you just would need to click the link that says, the StreamYard says, hey, let me show your name or whatever. Obviously, you don't have to. And I will see your name after I am off the air. And we'll make sure to get you guys access to this stuff. Right, so this is a fun green. And I'm kind of liking the green slightly blended with the white. I think it gives a lot of good color there. Makes it a little bit brighter. The one thing that I was thinking about as I was designing this was I wanted the green, but I felt like, oh my gosh, am I going to go get the balance wrong because we've got this blue and they're very similar tones. All right, I'll let that green kind of do its thing. Maybe do a little extra of the dark on the right side because the way we've set this up, our shadows are going to be a little bit more on the right side and our highlights are going to be a little bit more on the left side. Nope. And it might just be streaky, no big deal. That's one of those things that we may just have to let the paint dry for a minute. What else do we have? Ooh, okay. So some of my turquoise here, I'm just taking a quick look. I'm going to do a quick tweak on the turquoise just to get it a little bit more solid in a few spots because we're going to do some kind of cutesy, whatchamacallem, snowflakes. But they're not going to be like the fancy kind because I can't draw snowflakes. I really can't draw snowflakes. It's embarrassing. Every time I try, I'm like, I can't draw snowflakes. But I can draw the cutesy, like lightweight, like snowflake light. And did you guys know, like, I know this is sort of silly because I've seen pictures of them and I'm like, that's wrong. At least here on the East Coast, snowflakes always are structurally designed to have 6 prongs. Not 8, not 5, not 10, just 6. Sometimes they come down broken, but you can tell that their symmetry and the shape was intended to be 6. And it's one of those weird things, but I tell you, it's like, you know, last time I went skiing, I was by myself. Nobody came with me. And because it was COVID, no one was riding the lift with me, and I had nothing to do on these like really long lift rides. So I was sitting there and it's like snowing. It's like a powder day. And I'm like, you know, like head down to the bench like that, the entire ride up, checking out all the cool snowflakes coming down. And I was like, my gosh, except for the ones that came down broken, they're all structurally designed to be 6. So that's my fun fact. Okay, Carrie, I will make sure that you also get the link for the tracer and everything. I hope you feel better. That's no fun. But hey, you're going to be like immune. You can tell COVID to kiss your butt. I kind of have semi-undiagnosed respiratory issues. I'm like the girl who's always getting something. So I've definitely shut myself in quite a bit. So good for you for getting that taken care of. So Holly says, that's so cool. Who do you think figured that out? Well, God, of course. But I figured it out just by like staring at them all like for hours and hours and hours, the whole 6. Okay, go ahead and rinse the big brush. I'm going to give this a quick blast, and then we're going to come back in and draw in some cute snowflakes. And then, you know, also decide if we need to make any adjustments. I'm feeling like his body and his background, they blend a lot, so we might want to get an outline on him just so that he kind of pops a little bit. That's going to be, of course, up to you. Do you want to be like fine lining this whole sucker, or do you like him the way he is? And that's, you know, something you can answer or not. All right. I think that's close enough. All right, so I've been dipping in my white quite a bit. So here's a little trick. You can kind of skim the top and pull some of the color off to get to the lower levels of stuff. I mean, there's still junk in there, but that's good enough. So you could also do this with a paint pen if you had one. You might have really good results with it. I'm going to stick with this medium to large brush, I think, because I kind of want big and goofy. So we're going to get into that pure white, kind of dip the tip, like so. Now you're going to do an X. X, kind of like the letter X. You see how that's an X? This is where I really struggle. And then you do a line straight across the middle of the X. And that's how you get it kind of even. So again, we'll come over here and we'll do an X, like the letter X. Not across, an X, and then a line through the middle of the X. We're just going to do a bunch of these, then we'll come back and I guess I'm going to draw these all at an angle because Mr. Frosty's an angle to me, which allows me to get a quick time lapse of this so you guys can watch it again later in like super fast speed. All right, let's do a big one here. Ready? Big X. Whoa, it's all wonky. You forgive me, right, for doing a wonky X? Coming through here, let's just fix that up a little bit. And then, of course, line across it. Bonk, 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 bonk. And we'll do a little bit more to these, but I really was just thinking like, you know, these kind of cutesy starry things. Okay, so the black is dry, the red is still not dry. So I'm going to come in and do like a little X here. And the line, and maybe another one here. Oh yeah, so a reminder, if you are a local here in the Northern Virginia area, which is where I am, we have got a really great sled paint party coming up in November, about 3 weeks away. If you want to paint a cool sled with either a joyful snowman on it or not Holly Jolly Christmas, it's the Oh Holy Night trees and sort of a winter snow scene, let me know. I can get you a link for that. Just type sleds and I will get you the registration link. But again, that's a local thing. Or if you're like, hey, I'm not local, but I want some sleds to paint on, let me know. Oh, and in Northern Virginia, I am in like Dumfries, Woodbridge, Quantico area. And I think I saw that you're from Pennsylvania, yes. And Anne is a brand new member of the Blue Cat Inner Circle. Welcome. I'm super excited that you've joined us. You totally made my day. So I'm going to be opening the doors to the membership in just a few weeks, probably around Veterans Day. And then we'll be open for about a week. So if you are interested in becoming a member, which means you get access to all the projects that I ever do, the tutorials, the tracers, in fact, even as a member, paid member, a commercial license if you want to go teach paint parties and make money off of this stuff. However, if you are not a member, then you can just do this for fun. And I have a bunch of designs that I don't even release to the public. I only release them to my inner circle. And the bubbles is definitely one of them. This one was so much fun to create. I'm trying to go for like this whole sort of 1950s feel. All right, don't fall down. Oh, I know. My daughter's going to play her ukulele for us while I try to do this. Awesome. Okay, so Anne, you're from Pennsylvania. Oh, so your husband used to work in Elkton. Very cool. Hi, Suze. How's it going, my girl? Okay, so now I'm going to take the tail of the. Oh, you know what? I want big dots. So, yeah, I'm all ADHD here, but I'm going to take the tail of the big brush. See this guy? My fatty. Dip it in the white. Make big dots, and I'm going to come around to the edges of these. Really, that thing tapers so much. I'm totally disappointed. Okay. Hold up. We're going to grab a pencil with a good eraser. Maybe. I got to have something around here somewhere. Maybe my permanent marker will do better. That was like the most disappointing. There we go. Okay. So I basically got the tail of a Sharpie instead. Ooh, Holly asked, would a snowflake on the hat look like it was in front or a weird pattern? You know what? I don't know. We will find out. Give me a second to just make a little progress here, and then we'll play with that. A little overboard on this guy, so I'm just gonna. So these big dots probably are better on the slightly bigger snowflakes. And depending on how much snow you want, you could even add some random dots like so. Oh, look, it got on him. Another one here, and another one here. Maybe one here. Okay, so when you are doing snow, you've got to be sure that you're not making a nice even pattern, because when you make a nice even pattern, does it look like snow anymore? No, it looks like God's polka dots. That's not what we want. All right. So a lot of the snowflakes don't show up so well on him, but you can do a couple around the edges. Sometimes maybe pair a couple of them together. I think. Oh, I almost want to put one on the tip of his nose. I don't know if I can pull that off effectively, though. Well, let's see here. I keep getting off camera. Sorry. It's Saturday. Oh, my daughter and I, we went to King's Dominion last night. It's one of the local amusement parks. It's all haunted. And I got to tell you, I absolutely love a good haunted house. I love a good haunted house. Oh, this, Suze? Well, do you have Walmart in the UK? I think I got this at Walmart a few years back. Because, you know, I'm high fashion. Sue says, I love your top. I need one like that. It's just a thermal, but it's really nice, though, because my temperature's all over the place. Okay, I feel like I've kind of done my job with the big guy. So now I've got dots everywhere. The green is still wet. I could do some dots on that. But now we can move down to smaller dots. So this guy is, well, it's not half as big of a dot as I'd hoped for, but I think he'll still do a good job. So we'll go to the medium-sized guy, and we'll continue to kind of dot these little snowman star things. And I tell you, every time I try to do like a real snowflake, I just fail so miserably. So from here on out, my snowflakes are just going to look like jacks, like children's jacks. Oh, thank you, Sue. She says, I really love the snowman too. Yeah, I have to say, this morning I spent a while sketching like a whole bunch of snowmen. And I was like, oh my gosh, I put a crown on one of them. And I was like, oh my gosh, we could totally do like like a Three Kings snowman theme. So I think my inner circle is going to get the Three Kings snowman. And I'm thinking we're going to do it maybe like a triptych or all three on a similar. Okay, so I'm adding a few dots, and notice they're smaller because snow is never exactly the same size every time it goes down. And the beauty of doing kind of the dotting like this is the first dot down tends to be the biggest. And as the snow, or as the paint like gets less and less, your dots get smaller. And so that kind of is a fun cheat maybe. All right, so we'll do some dots on, holy cow, those are massive dots on this guy. Okay, so I can maybe do a few, I think. Oh, Anne says that sounds awesome. Oh, and Sue says, I love that idea for the inner circle. Yeah, I'm not a terribly religious person, but I do want to have kind of a Christmas theme. And I want to mix up the snowman a little bit. You know, sometimes we just get to always doing the same snowman, and I think it'd be so much fun. So again, for those of you who are interested in joining the inner circle or want to be able to do those cool snowmen, let me know. You can just type inner circle or Three Kings in the comments. And once we're open, I will get you a sign up list so you can become part of the inner circle and do the Three Kings and everything else. Because the beauty of becoming an inner circle member is you get access to every tutorial I have ever filmed, with all the supply lists and designs and everything. So it's kind of like, you know, and the beauty is that the price is still very low right now. We're just a smidge over $20. But you know, as the library gets larger and larger and there's more to choose from, we're going to raise the price. The beauty is, if you're already a member, whatever price you locked in, your super low early member price, that is your forever price as long as you stay a member. It's kind of awesome. So one day we'll be charging like $35-40 and you'll be like sitting there smug as the bug in a rug with your $22 rate, like Okay, let's see. So Anne was saying, I was looking through it last night and you're so excited. She cannot wait. So yeah, Anne got into the group. I want to say it was like yesterday afternoon or last night, or I don't know. I remember sitting there like, okay, I can't wait for her to join. Can't wait for her to join, see all the stuff and get the stuff and do the stuff and all that whatnot. So anyway, you like Anne. Okay, I'm not sure I've had a solid meal yet today. You know, it's a weekend and I'm like, I refuse to go anywhere or do anything. So I might be a little off, but okay. Are you guys done watching me dot? Are you good with all these dots? Look at that. Isn't he cute? He's so fun. He's so fun. I love this stuff. Oh, there's a couple X's that don't have them. Boop, boop. And you know, if your dots don't exactly touch the tips of the Jack Snowman or the flaky things, it's okay. It can be kind of floating out and about. I kind of guess the idea. Oh, put this one. I have to. Can't miss. On this guy here. Boop, boop, boop. All right. I think I've gone dot mad wild crazy. Yeah, Sue says those finishing touches really make a difference. Isn't that crazy how that works? I'm always so surprised. I like, because you know, sometimes a project just, it looks a little rough the whole way and you sit there wondering, oh my gosh, is it gonna work? It just doesn't right. And you sort of finally like pull it all together. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of an outline to Mr. Frosty here because I feel like he's really blending. However, if you're like, he's perfect the way he is, then my friends, leave it. All right. So I'm trying to just rein in my you know what? I need to throw this brush away. Come on, Dover, where you at? All right, here's a good one. It's gonna be slightly flat. I'm gonna grab some black. All right. Here, rolling up my sleeves like I'm really gearing up to do the thing. And we're gonna come in and just kind of tidy him up a little bit and add, oh, please don't drag your finger through the stuff. So I was kind of rough in this line, so I'm going to smooth it a bit. Add a little bit of an outline here, and that just kind of pulls them together. I'm going to rotate this so we're not making too big a mess. Coming around his neck. So you can, be very meticulous with this, or you can just kind of get it done quickly. Right now, I'm kind of in the get it done quickly mode here, because sometimes watching someone do outlining can be pretty boring. But I do want you to see kind of how it looks when we got it all done and sort of pulled together. And this also gives me the opportunity to smooth up the neckerchief a little bit, or the scarf, whatever we want to call that thing. Zoom, 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 zoom. So Holly said, so Elizabeth says, love the design. And of course, the hat is awesome. Thank you. I thought the hat was super cool. It says stove. How's it Frosty the Snowman? Corn cob pipe and a button nose. Totally not cool. Isn't there like a hat? You talk about a stovepipe hat or something? Somebody remind me. I don't remember how it goes. It came to life one day. I don't know. You know what? I must be getting old because I can't remember the words to Frosty. All right, and Holly says, that reminds me of the W initial with the finishing touches, pulling it all together. W initial. Oh gosh, I don't know what we're talking about. I'm probably forgetting. Oh, that W initial. That one was a letter, right? It was the blue letter with the flowers and stuff? I think. I don't know. All right, coming around, just getting a little outline there. And again, if you don't like the way the outline looks, you do not have to do it. I'm trying to show you options. Sort of the more we outline and stuff, it gives it a little bit more of like a whimsical, cartoony look, whereas it's perhaps slightly less cartoony, although again, it's Frosty, so it's all made up. But it feels just a smidge more realistic without the outline. Okay. Now notice I let it get kind of lumpy bumpy because I know about you, last time I tried to roll a snowman, it didn't actually come out round. It came out kind of lumpy and you could sort of see my mitten prints. So you know what? Let's go with that. And you don't even have to have perfectly even lines. Just kind of keeps it fun and cute. And just for consistency, his hat doesn't need an outline, but I do think that his little hat rim wants just that touch of definition there to kind of clean it up and make that swoosh. Make the swoosh swoosh. What do you think? Do we outline his nose too? I'm a little. Yeah, okay, so Holly says, ages ago, I had a big W shape. Yeah, I did. I came across that the other day. I'm trying to clean out my studio because it's a lot of control. So you have the option to outline the nose. I think for now, I'm going to skip outlining the nose. I'm not feeling like I'm going to do it any justice if I do. If you have like a super fine line brush, you could. Now I'm going to come back and tweak this guy a little. We've got the basic outline in. So I'm working with what's actually like a teeny tiny flat brush. It almost looks like a liner brush, but it's flat. And I've been able to kind of get away with using it that way. So coming back in, I've got some green smudged in my white over here. So I'm going to just take that so it won't be pure white. It'll have a touch of green in it. I'm going to bring it right across the top there of the scarf. A little bit here on his scarf. Maybe a little bit here. And we'll drag a little down kind of the center and maybe the tips. Notice we're just doing partial. I can come in with some more just plain green and kind of bring that down. My green is kind of inconsistent looking. My camera is helping though. It's helping. So I can see the details and I don't like it parts a little better. And that's okay. All right, so coming in with that green, and I didn't rinse my brush. I just offloaded a little of that white. And I just kind of reach in and kind of allow and blend along that line where I had the greenish white. So it makes the whole thing a little bit smoother, a little less harsh, and we're intensifying the green colors a little bit. Okay. So I think that's our Frosty. There's our buddy. I hope you had fun with this. And again, if you want to get your hands on the tracer for this on the supply list, and even just kind of a reminder link to where the heck the video is, just write Frosty or type Frosty in the comments and I will make sure to get it to you. It might be a little while just because I got to gotta put all the stuff together so it's easy to deliver. It's really hard to add attachments of like PDFs and all this stuff in the comments of a Facebook, which is the only reason I gotta like send you a link. And so you'll click on the link and it will actually email you everything you need. Plus there'll be some little buttons where you can hit the download. So thank you for joining me. It's been real. And don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, all the things. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. Love ya. Bye.